Okay, there's that pin that we were talking about in the last segment. Those of you who were with us in the last segment, my guest today, Rich Negrin, explained how he got that lapel pin that he's been wearing, and I was looking at it, and it was kind of jumping out of me. It's gorgeous, and it's so significant because, it's a representative of the municipal government of the city of Philadelphia. Now one of the things that you do is basically run the city in a sense. If the mayor goes out of town, are you in fact the de facto mayor?
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. We are very careful about between the mayor, the chief of staff, Clay Armbruster, and myself.
Right.
The three of us try never to be outside the city at the same time.
Okay.
So we coordinate our vacation schedules and are very thoughtful about that, but not really about running the city. The city kind of runs itself. The mayor is the chief executive officer of the city, and those of us who work for him, make sure we all do our part. That's really about in the event that something happens. If there's a crisis. Part of my job, my second day on the job actually, we had a crisis on the river where we had
boats.
Correct. We had a terrible accident with duck boats and the barge, and that took up the entire day and many days after that. There are incidents that occur like that where you need to make fast decisions. You need to make sure that you're handling a crisis, make sure that you're coordinating with all city departments to make sure that you're reacting and taking care of issues that occur. Those are the reasons why we make sure that someone is around, whether it's the mayor, obviously, myself, or the chief of staff, Clay Armbruster, to make sure that we're there to be responsive.
Yeah. It isn't too often that we have an opportunity to have the ear of a city administrator for whatever citizens' complaints we may have. But, one of the things this is like one of my pet peeves, the destruction and vandalizing of street names and traffic signs in the city of Philadelphia has become a very serious problem.
Yeah.
I see it's criminal. I see one-way signs that have been turned around
That's
by
dangerous.
somebody,
yes.
And I have in the middle, late at night, been driving through a neighborhood where I'm trying to find my way back home, and I see a one-way sign, and I go the way that the arrow is pointing, only to find, half a block later, seeing headlines coming at me, and I realized that, I'm on a one-way street, but I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, and thank you for raising that, Diego. There's one thing that folks who are listening should know. When you see things like that, we have a number here in Philadelphia, easy to remember, that everybody knows, where you can get services of any kind, and that's 311. If you call 311, in the city of Philadelphia, something like that will be fixed in a matter of days in most part.
Terrific. That is great to know because, somebody's going to get killed.
And by the way, that goes far beyond those things. If it's graffiti, if it's potholes, any type of services from a city agency, you call 311 and the city will respond.
Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that. 311, that's like when you call 911 for an emergency.
Correct.
But this is 311. This is something concerning the city of Philadelphia, not an emergency.
That's exactly right. It's a non-emergency line, specifically dedicated for several things, to allow the citizens to raise service complaints, but to make service requests as well, but also to get information. So if you're trying to interact with the government and you're not sure who's the proper department, who do you reach out to, 311 and our staff are trained to specifically answer those questions.
What about vacant land in Philadelphia?
Yeah, we have a great new initiative going on right now around vacant land that the mayor has tasked myself and Rob Dubow, our finance director, with helping to solve. We have brought together for the very first time, very successfully, all of the heads of the other city agencies that deal with housing or vacant land. Vacant property is one of the biggest issues we have in Philadelphia. We have over 40,000 vacant parcels. I remember when I was an assistant district attorney, seldom would I read a crime police report that didn't include a vacant lot at some point, whether they were the crime occurred there or they were chased through there. When you look at the Kensington Strangler and the situation going on with that heinous individual, many of the perpetrated crimes were in vacant lots. We need to do our part as a city, and all these departments are coming together, working very closely with the RDA, the Redevelopment Authority, with the Office of Housing, to come together with public property, with the Managing Director's Office, to really solve our vacant land issue. So we're coming up with policies around acquisition, maintenance and enforcement, and disposition, where we can actually get rid of these properties and get them developed and put back into the real estate market system to really help improve the quality of life.
Yeah. Now, Rich, we only have about 30 seconds left.
Sure.
But just the last question. You speak Spanish?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I spoke Spanish before I spoke English.
Okay.
And then when I was 5 years old and started to go to school, I slowly started to, my Spanish suffered a great deal, so I speak Spanish at a very elementary level.
You have a very good relationship with the Hispanic community here.
I do.
I've seen you at some of the events. In fact, you were MC at one event that I attended.
Yeah.
Listen, it's great to have you here.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank you, Diego.
for joining us for this, and thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good week.